If you're still building n8n workflows manually, watch this. Full workflow, connected, ready to test, and I didn't touch the canvas once. This is Claude Code, GSD, and the NANMCP server. 3 tools, 1 stack, and it's about to change how you build automations. In my 2 previous videos, I showed you how to use Get Shit Done with Claude Code to create an app, as well as master UI design. But in this video, I'm going to show you how to stack Claude Code, Get Shit Done, and the NANMCP server to build workflows without ever having to build an n8n workflow manually ever again. Now that I've gotten your attention, this video is going to be broken down into 3 simple steps. First, I'm going to show you the plugins. Second, I'm going to show you how to use them. And third, we're going to go through a real example of how to use everything in tandem. And if you want more information on how to use this specific plugin, Get Shit Done, check out the video link somewhere above here. It's a tutorial on how to use it and set it up. Very simply, you would just run this command in your terminal with Claude and it'll set it up for you. The second one I want to bring your attention to is this NANMCP server, and you can grab this link. It's going to be in the description below. And just letting you guys know ahead of time, if you're having any trouble setting up any of this, go ahead and join my school. It's also linked below. I have a lot more resources and templates there for you guys to use. But in any case, just grab this link and ask Claude to install the server for you. And it's also important to know that I'm using n8n locally and it's hosted here in Docker. If you want to learn how to set that up, I'm going to have a video in my school, but you could also YouTube to figure out how to do that yourself. It's really not that complicated, 5-10 minutes max. And to make sure that you have the server actually downloaded, you put /mcp and you'll be able to see the NANMCP server right here. It's already connected. If you see that, it's a good sign. It's definitely going to ask you for your n8n API. You could just create the API key here, feed it into the server via Claude, and it'll set it up for you. And you could be sure that you have GSD downloaded when you type in /GSD and you see these commands come up. And also the way that I use Claude Code is more of a command center. So I build apps in one workspace folder where some people build different apps in different folders. So I would just let Claude know how you want GSD to build your projects. If it's in one app folder or whatever the case is, just ask it to update your claude.md file. If you don't already have one built, you can ask it to build one with you. And that's a whole fun process, but that's for another video. But my process is very simple. If I find a workflow that I want to mimic and I can't find a template for it, sometimes I'll screenshot a workflow and I'll say, hey, can you give me a prompt to build a workflow for me? Or sometimes what I end up doing is just doing the voice dictate and I'll speak it into existence, ask it to create a prompt for Claude to create a workflow based off of these specs. And you can feed it picture examples as well after you've dictated to get the final prompt. And I always like to ask for a markdown code block that I could just copy and paste. I already have a prompt here. As you guys can see, it built this out for me. But here I'm going to ask Claude to update my MD file. I instructed it so whenever I use the GSD new project command for an n8n workflow, it'll add the project inside of the workflow folder that I just set up right here. I do feel the need to interject here at this point and let you know that you don't need to use GSD to use the NANMCP server to build workflows. You can simply ask Claude to build whatever workflows you need and it'll build it for you automatically in n8n. But this is a more dynamic and extensive way to build your workflows if you're building something a bit bigger. But for simple workflows, just ask Claude to use the MCP server and build whatever you need, and then you can attach whatever APIs and accounts you need in n8n itself. All right, so notice now it's going to create, instead of the apps folder, there's a workflows folder, so it knows the difference now. And while that's happening, I want to let you guys know that using GSD to build your workflows is extremely valuable when you're creating multi-layer workflows that work in tandem and that call upon one another. So if you have a workflow that requires a whole other process and it's basically like another tool for your AI agent or something like that, you could verbally speak that all out and ask it to create phases for you. Because if we look here, my apps and planning, there are different phases for what I wanted to build. And as you're building things out further, it'll also build out different phases on top of the phases for the initial V1 of your build. And also add your project MD, your roadmap MD, and your state MD. So the project will have context, and part of GSD, whenever you're using it for different phases, you'd use the /clear command, and then it would give you a separate command to either start the planning for the next phase or execute that next phase. And it'll pull from these markdowns to get context without having to constantly see compacting conversation in Claude Code. So now I went ahead and I typed in new project, and it's going to go ahead, it's going to analyze, it's going to look through my MD. Okay, so it's going to ask me, am I building an n8n workflow or an application? We're going to do n8n workflow. While that's happening over here, what I want to create is a flow of automations that'll basically help me create a faceless YouTube automation channel. All right, so it asked me to type in the workflow's name, and I'm going to type in faceless YouTube automation channel. Now over here, I'm going to take a second and I'm going to dictate some thoughts. All right, cool. So here I laid it out. I wanted to build the faceless YouTube channel automations using the MCP server. So I'm just going to click this. All right, so it created the entire prompt for us. All I'm going to do is copy this and place it here so we could start the phase building and see how things go from here. All right, so there's over 308 lines. We're going to let that run. And for the sake of saving us time, I'm going to show you how it's going to layer everything out in the phases. And I'm going to do a lot of the clearing, planning, and executing the plans off record to save us all some time. And we're going to take a look at the final product so we can see how it came out. All right, so you can see it's asking me some questions about what I wanted to build. It asked me about the niche. I told it for AI tech and automation. And I'm going to have it actually find those channels for me. So I'll put 2. We're going to use both as options. For the LLM, we're going to send them to just Gmail for now to keep things simple. Okay, so it's asking me about Airtable for the automation. I have an existing base, and I think everything is equally important. And now it's going to create the project MD. And then you get to choose, do you want interactive or YOLO? I'm just going to have it go YOLO. Okay, so it created the project MD, so I have an idea of how this is actually going to be worked out, and then it's going to go through and create the phases for me now. Correction, before I create the phases, it's going to ask me to clear for context, and then I'm going to do create roadmap for faceless YouTube automation. All right, so the server for Claude went down for some reason. It's just asking me some final questions. I think there was a hiccup here in creating the roadmap. So I'm just going to answer some of my questions here, submit it. All right, so it had an idea of what I wanted now, and I asked it to just create the roadmap and the phases now for me for this process. And if you take a second to really consider how complex the processes are for a faceless YouTube channel, as far as automating the scraping of ideas, compiling the ideas, generating the videos, the audio, the actual video content like the graphics, it is a lot. So going through these phases for something this big is going to be very valuable for us. Claude just gave us the phases for this project. It gave us the project MD, the roadmap as far as the phases go, and then the state as far as we've accomplished the build on all the individual workflows within this process that we want to put together. So I'm just going to go ahead and build everything one by one behind the scenes now, and we're going to come back and take a look at all the workflows that it built. So after about 30 minutes of going back and forth with Claude like an abusive ex-wife, I actually got all of my files here. So all the workflows for this process are laid out, the idea scraper, organizer, so on and so forth. And we're going to open up each one so you guys can see how extensive this thing actually is. So for the transcript workflow, it created this. And then I opened up each one of these workflows so we could take a look at them one by one. So the voiceover chunk workflow, the viral idea scraper, the organizer, we have the scripter put together here, the packager, the actual video generation workflow, and then I have something set up here for image B-roll. So yeah, guys, building extensive multi-layered workflows manually is a thing of the past. I'd give this stack a 10 out of 10, guys. Like, it built everything for me in 30 minutes. I didn't have to do anything manual. The only thing that I have to do manual now is plug in all my accounts and connect everything in a way that actually makes this thing work. But I didn't have to think through and put all these nodes in here myself. Like, it was all done for me. And that's it for this one. I really hope you guys got the value you were seeking from this video. And my goal is to never tell you guys what's right or wrong. I just want to help open your perspective and open up the possibilities using these types of technologies to build your workflows and to build your business up. So if you did get the value, go ahead, like and subscribe for more content like this. And if you want to join my community, it's free and the link is in the description below. I hope to see you guys on the next one. Take care.